Apologies for the lighting. It seems to only like really get bright if I move like close like that, so that's not great because that's not good for posture anyway. But yeah, guess what it is. I guess I could get like a lamp actually up here. I'll be back. Yeah. So there's this, but first of all, like the light's like in my face, which isn't ideal. I could like cover it a bit, so it's like less in my eyes. Probably not good for my eyes. This is so ripped. Jesus. It's like a rag, bro. I gotta go back to Thailand. Buy new ceramic. Yeah, like that. That's safe. Let's check it does like catch on fire though. Should be fine. Yeah. I mean, it gives some light to my face. I mean, it's better than this, right? So, yeah. Let's just go with this for now. So I want to get back on. It's kind of annoying though because it's kind of covering my laptop monitor. Anyway, so don't need this, I guess. I was working on my game a couple of nights ago. I didn't record it yet though because I was busy doing some other things as well. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. So this is the game. FreeWare, right? I fixed the bug. The bug was that I was getting a 6sev, what's it called? 6sev segmentation fault. That's right. Which wasn't ideal. Usually you shouldn't get those for C++ code unless you're doing something horribly wrong. Even with like F sanitizer, I couldn't get any extra details. So I ended up using a debugger and also asking in the C++ Discord server if anyone knew like what this could be. And then with that they helped me figure out through the stack trace. I don't have the debugger set up properly, so like it won't show me the stack trace by default. It's not really easy to do. So I do need to set that up at some point. Also like showing like local variables. Like I can use, like right now, I can basically use a debugger to see when it crashes, like on what line it crashes, but I can't do anything about like the state of things. So that's not ideal. Yeah, so it'd be good to get that set up. But anyway, so now if I do my beautiful run.sh, we see that we're here, which is cool. And this follows my mouse also. Yes, and now there is this thing in the background you'll see. I don't know how small my recording is, but that's because these all use, well, I'll show you the code. These all use an app template. An object, so if I go to CVP, over here, is this it? Wow, my screen's so much bigger. I see so much more code now. That's crazy. Was it actually that small? Yeah. So I have like that much more space, which is a decent amount. By the way, you can see here that I have this, right? I have my app template, and the app template itself is a game object. So even though these derive from it, or like copy its things, its game objects, whatever, this also is one. So I need a way to basically delete it after I create it. Which should be fine because like the template itself won't be rendered if I delete it before it's rendered. Yeah. Also, yeah, I got my contract for my job, so that's awesome. But I do need to get some other jobs as well. So I'm looking into that. But applying for jobs is a full-time job, and unfortunately I am obsessed with programming, so I kind of procrastinate by doing this. But anyway, the other option is to not have this loop, and instead use one of the templates as a base for the other apps. But the thing is, like, I want to have something that I can just use to create. Like maybe it's not having the app template, but just copying the components. But the issue is like I need the texture, and then I also need to have the rect renderer component. But have the rect renderer component without it rendering, which I guess that's fine because it only renders if it's attached to a game object. If it's just like defined in the scope, it should be okay. Yeah. So I could do that and have like an app I don't know, because like app create here, like it creates it from scratch. What I need is like an app builder that I can kind of define, or like an app like I know like I'm not a fan of like an app factory, but like in this case it would actually help me store the important information, and then it would like cache it, right? Or have the because like it's app. Like right now this is just a class. I would need some kind of object like app factory that can produce apps. Yeah, so I'll do that down the line. For now though, I should implement a way to delete components. So if I go to my entity component system, I don't know what that is right now. Yeah, component pool. You have mplace, get, has, and to iter. Mplace adds it. Now we need a way to remove it as well. And yeah, this uses ECS, so let's have a look. So we got get, we got has, we got to iter, and let's say what to define remove, right? So would it be void? I could have it return the component, I guess, but then like it would just creating a copy for no reason. Yeah, there's not much reason to do that. So be void, remove. We want to get the game object handle, and that's it, I think, actually. So then it would just return nothing. Yeah, and then whatever you put in here would be the code. So yeah, so I don't know how this works. So when you remove it, I believe you. Because what do we have? We have our three things, two vectors and a hash map. So you got the components, the component to handle, and the handle to component. And all of these are for the same component type, because this is a templated class type. So what I would do is, first of all, remove the component, that's obvious. And I can do that by using a handle to component, that'll give me the size. But then it's a vector, so like I don't want to just remove it. Really, I believe the way you should do it is swap it with the last element, and like update it that way. So I want to try to do this from like myself without looking at any reference code, because I have I've seen how it works before. It's just a matter of implementing it myself. I should have implemented this whole thing myself, but I didn't. I kind of just copied. So I should, yeah. Let's use something for myself here. But you've got component to handle and handle to components. We use handle to component. We don't use component to handle, but we would need to also update component to handle, right? Yeah. So let's try. So first of all, swap the components. Do I swap the components, or do I just... No, actually I don't swap anything. But I need to... Because like, you want to avoid a reallocation on the vector. Because if I remove an element, then I believe it's like O of n to then have it reshift back. Otherwise, I can have holes in my vector, but that's not ideal because then the vector just keeps growing and never reduces, which can lead to either, well, I guess memory leaks, because like they're just sitting on the heap and not getting cleaned up. But no, well, I mean, it's not in the vector, so it's not really a memory leak. It's more just a heap overflow, even, could occur, of some kind. I don't know what you call that. Maybe like fragmentation could occur. I don't know. So, yeah, so we got this vector. I mean, we can't just swap, right, I guess. Like, yeah, it does mean copying the thing over, but like at the very least, since we're copying, it doesn't like a copy is still just O of n. So it's, O of 1. So it's not too bad. Yeah, I think so. And then just delete the other reference. Delete the one. Well, yeah, delete it. Because here we're just removing it. We're not extracting it. So I believe we can just and they're all the same size because it's the same component type. It's a vector. So we should be able to delete or like clear the one in the, let's say in the middle, we clear it, which means we free any resources that it is allocated, which there really shouldn't be any, but I guess it's possible, and then overwrite it with new data, with a new data, yes, overwrite it, and then just shrink the vector, pretty much, which I think you can do with dot resize, or something like that, or just do dot remove even on the element, and that's built in. So let's do something like that. So first of all, we need to get the handle to the component, or the component index, I should say. So we'll do so usize target index equals handle to component. It's a hash map, so we just pass it the handle. Handle's undefined because I don't have it here for some reason. No value overload for hash map. Okay, so we'll do it .at. No matching member function call for call. I can't read. Handle to component is a hash map, and it takes a handle, right? U32. All right. So handle dot index. Now this is all generations, but I'm not handling that just yet. Also, this will prevent. Well, yeah, this is a start. It's not creating. Just an annoying quirk of C++'s library. So then we need to. I mean, basically, just do the opposite of this. But also, we're not just adding to the end. So that's our target index. Then we want to get the last element, which is our components dot size, I believe -1. Yeah, because new index is like the new index, right? Components dot size. Where do you use new index here? Here. Handle to component, handle dot index equals that. Yeah. So it'd be -1, and then we want to copy it. So we'll say components at target index equals components at last element. So this is a copy to overwrite it. We do need to also clean up the resources, but I believe this does anyway. When you use the copy constructor, it will call the destructor of the original. Let me verify that. Bring this over here. When I call a copy assignment or a copy reassignment in C++ on a class type, does that trigger the original destructor before it is overwritten? Because it's not moving, it's copying. It does not. It's your job to release or clear any system resources. It will leak the original resource. Okay, so what if my class contains a standard unique pointer? Will that memory get freed automatically due to how its copy assignment is defined in the SDL? I believe it is. Because then it's like I can just shift the responsibility to the type. It isn't copyable. Right, that's true actually. So if it isn't copyable, that means the class can't be copied. So it needs to move. Okay, so move assignment into it, right? Yeah. So for move assignment, it does free the current owned resources before taking ownership of the new one. Okay. Yeah, so good. So that's what I need. I just mixed up the term there, I guess. So then this is a move operation, which is fine. I don't know if it happens implicitly though. Let me just make it explicit with standard move. Okay, and then once that's moved, we can remove it. So we say components dot remove let's check my CPP reference here. By the way, apparently a dilettante is a person who explores an art topic or activity with superficial interest and lack of serious commitment. It's my word of the day. So, look for vector. Does this even work? It does work. It's really hard typo. I think this one. That's the header. Don't know why I pressed there. I guess view page source. Can I go back? Yeah. This PMR vector. What's that? Okay. It's an alias template that uses a polymorphic allocator. Okay. So we've got the elements are raised and end. There's swap. You could perform a swap, but I feel like a swap isn't necessary here, right? I think overwriting it should be fine. Like in my head, it's typically a swap, but I don't understand why you would do that in this case, because we're not like taking it from like a queue or anything. We're just removing it. Clear, insert, and place arrays. Push back and place back, pop back. But pop back removes the last element and doesn't. I believe it takes it. So let's try, first of all, pop back. It's void. It shrinks the vector by 1. No data is returned. Okay. Oh, never mind, it's fine then. So why is it called pop back? That's really stupid, but whatever. So then we pop back from that. Then we need to update the thing. So first of all, we have two things: component to handle and handle to component. So vector game object handle. Component to handle. How's that work? Like the component knows it's an index? I think it's component index to handle, yeah. So it'd be, oh my head, sorry. Oh, that hurts, what the hell? So it'd be components to index, sorry, to handle, at the new target index, right, equals handle, I think just handle, even, because we're just swapping or overwriting it, and then handle to component at target index, same, is now going to be the target index. Sorry, so it'd be handle by index. Yeah, so now we're overwriting it. Okay, so that should work in my head. I don't know how to really test this without like literally checking the stack myself. But we got targeted. So okay, so we get the component through the index, right? And then that gives us the component index. Then we get the last element, which is just the size minus 1. Then we get it, and then we move that into our target index. So now we're overwriting it. Then we remove the last one because it's no longer in use because we've moved it, so that's now invalid state. And then we just update the component to handle thing. So at this target index, so at this component index you have this handle, and then at this handle index you have this component type thing. Yeah, that seems right. So let's test it. So game.cpp. After I create these, I can remove the app templates. I don't know if I'll deallocate the resources though, like the texture resource. I believe it's a shared pointer, so it should stay alive. In which case it should be fine. So once all of these are assigned, I'll say, to be fair, I could also just like use that, but whatever. I'll say app template hold on. Yeah, so I mean it'd be like app app is a is an app. So I only like app templates dot remove, clear, drop. Is drop good? What's a good like idiom here? Or like a good name to say remove it from the, well, yeah, just remove it, I guess. I mean, it's removing the components, and then also, I mean, the handler doesn't matter. It's just removing the components, right? Well, once it goes out of scope, it should just die. Yeah, that's what. Okay, so let me write it into the destructor of that. These should be fine because these are literally held alive. This one goes out of scope, but continues to stay alive. That's the issue. So we'll go into app.hpp for now, and I do need to define a custom destructor. I also need to technically define constructors and whatnot, because that's the whole thing. Mind you, no, actually I don't need to, because GameObject does it. GameObject should handle it automatically. So let me overload. In fact, I think I even took notes on this. Yeah, I mean, I said here I can rewrite this in terms of this. That's fine. This needs to happen as well. Well, this might be automatic. Maybe. If it's a copy assignment, should it move? No. No, that has to be manual. But yeah, here, to do clean up resources on destruction. So this needs to be updated. So let's open this up. And yeah, we'll just say I assume it has a list of its components, right? Like here's the component checklist. Handler index, you can enter, yeah, so it can take the index. I can just copy this, more or less, put it there, but change this, so use that, yeah. So for each component checklist, if it has component T, if it doesn't, continue. If it does, then depending on it, you'll need to remove it. So here we say copy component, and then we need to have remove component as well. Yeah, so let's have template, type name T of T component, and then it'll be void, remove component, remove or delete, remove, yeah. Remove component of that type. Yeah, should be fine. And then in that, we just do yeah, actually we do have to update this, so set this to false. It's like an unset. I don't know. I'll have a look at this real quick. Any account flip. Reset? Yeah, reset, okay. So we do reset on that, and then we engine get pool of that T component type dot remove, and then we feed the handle. Yeah, that's good. Okay, and then from that we do this here. My thing's lagging, so I'm gonna quit because I believe my fucking LSP is the one causing the lag. I need to configure it so like there's a limit to how much it goes, because I believe it's like indexing the whole database for what's it called, SDL, which is not ideal at all. So yeah, then down here we'll just do remove component rect transform, for instance, and like that, right? So let me turn this into a macro real quick, make things a lot easier. What is it? Is it Shift Q? No, just Q. Q1. Yeah. So I'll write remove component, go up here, take this, paste it, close it, do that, go up, and delete. Yeah. And then that should be recorded now. So if I do A1, if I do what's replay? Is it at? Yes, at. Okay. Okay, don't know why I just got overwritten. Why did using it move it to now the second buffer? I did at 1 and then at 2. That's weird. Anyway, seems a bit weird, of course, that I have to do like this, but there's not really there's no like I can't pass the type that easily, so wow. So let's build. Now keep in mind, I realize when I run, it doesn't actually print any output in my terminal, which is kind of annoying. So it's better if I run it in my terminal than look at it down here in my thingy. So that's another thing I need to set up, my like multiple terminals in NeoVim. It built though, so let me launch this project FreeWare. Just put it there so I can see my compiler output really easily. I'm going to do /run.sh. Okay, so here I got a, well, let me expand this. Nice, so I got some more detail here. Okay, so it says rect transform, first of all. Okay. This size failed. Okay. I guess that's just an exception, I guess, actually. Now, it doesn't tell me where it failed, but let's have a look. So, first of all, pool down here. What it failed on? It failed on standard vector of template parameter 1 and then 2? That's weird. It says T equals rect transform. Reference equals rect transform reference. This dot size failed. Now the pools never go out of scope, so I know that's not an issue. So let's try debugging here. Now I could use a debugger, but in fact let's use a debugger. So I'm going to do breakpoint, Control N, Control Y. Okay, never mind. What? No, toggle breakpoints. Control Y. Okay. Did not mean to put it there. It's clear. Yeah. Okay. So let's toggle one here. And then let's dap new. And this executable. So now we're here. We're going to step into over. Okay, step into that. Okay, we're there. We're there. Now, it'd be useful if I could inspect the stack trace right now. Okay, we go to the end of there. Now where are we? We're here. Okay, good. So it was called by remove component. It breaks, yeah. And then loops again. So it's set on rect transform, so far that's okay. Yeah, did off the component, so no rect renderer, that's correct. It should have a text renderer, yep. So we'll just step over that. Or not. Go through this. Okay. Okay. Done. Huh. Huh. That's weird. It called the destructor on what? Because this is the wallpaper, but the wallpaper stays in scope the whole time. So was it because of the standard move? It must be. It's the end of the scope. I guess it's just maybe wallpaper texture. But that's a texture. It's not a game object. The game object is here. Engine.create game object. Oh, right. Okay, so here, actually, that's fair. I initialize the wallpaper, but I'm actually not saving the thing? That's really weird. Why do I do that? Okay, let's continue here. Because that's already a very potential bug. Okay. They got the whole texture shenanigans. That should be irrelevant. Oh, okay, no. I see why it's stepped into before. It's because of the breakpoint. Then we have maybe app. So I'll curate it. That's weird. So creating it calls remove? Why? Okay, we'll do that, continue here. If not, maybe error.has value. Why does that call the destructor? That's so weird. Okay, so then two things to check is the app curate and that. So let me just first of all disconnect the debugger, and let's have a look at this. So first of all, wallpaper.cpp, .hpp. Right, so it doesn't even save itself. That's so weird. Why does it just not do that? Okay, so let's have let's fix this. We'll have a private game object wallpaper. Right, and we'll need to include game object. Yeah, so go to the definition here, I think Control XO, and paste that here. Yeah, and then here it should assign it. So that's the first fix. Then for app.cpp, what was on here? App result, return result. Right, so that should be a standard move. I thought that'd be automatic, but no, because I think what's happening there is it's creating a copy when it returns. Result.object.add component text render, yeah. Otherwise it's fine. So it'd be very good if I could see the stack trace, to be fair. But I need to set up my thing, my debugger for that. But let's try building this and see what happens. Yeah, it says redundant. So why is it calling the destructor? Like on what? On results? I guess so. So when it's moved, it still calls it the destructor, but that's problematic because like it's moving it. It shouldn't call it the destructor there. Unless I like to find the move assignment, but hold on. Hold on. When I move from an object, does the constructor still get called? Let's have a look at this. I need the destructor of results to not get called here, since the state needs to be valid for the return. I mean, you could do like a, well no, because like I just want a unique pointer to app. Apps move constructor and the members like object need to null out to reset ownership and remove that from object. Right. This is problematic. Because a move should transfer ownership. Which means they can swap pointers, I guess? Right? But like, what if it has no pointers to swap? That's really weird. Because like, if you look at how it's defined, or how it's implemented, you have engine.create object, right? Create game object. This will generate a new handle, and then we do this. Add these components. But then when we return here, and I'll remove that. When we return here, we're actually removing the components because they belong to this object. When I move, the objects can be inherited, like the handle can be inherited. So maybe for the destructor, it should check if the handle is anything. If the handle is 0, I guess I could have it just not. That's probably the simplest way to do it, instead of like doing some funky passing around type thing. The thing is, how do you know if the destructor is 0? On move, I guess. Because like look at because I'm looking at game.cpp. What we do here is we just feed it, right? Maybe app. That's it. So like there's no handle that's generated. The handle has to be transferred here. So what I need to do is, again, in game object, I believe I have to find the copy constructors, but not the move constructors. So that's why I'm having issues as well right now. So first of all, for the copy constructors, it should remove existing components. Right, because then when it gets them, it needs to remove it. How do I do that? I kind of just call the destructor, but like manually. So let me have another function, which should just be void remove all components. It'd be private actually. So remove all components, and it would essentially just do this. Yeah. And then it also needs to like nullify its own It's annoying, like, I can't call the destructor manually. Engine equals other.engine, handle index gets overwritten anyway, so that's fine. Yeah, so I'll have that. So then this can just do that. Remove all components. And then here, same thing, remove all components. So that just kind of empties it. And then engine equals other, I mean, that's not necessary unless it's being initialized, right? That's true, actually. So if the handle is 0, it needs to not do anything. So let's also add that. So to this code, right? I'll say if handle equals 0, return. Just keep these not be nested. If handle.index. Okay. That way we don't waste time with handles that don't exist. Issue is the handle could still be 0 anyway. I could have like a standard optional, but that feels like a waste, right? But like idiomatically it makes sense. It's just like, but I don't want to unwrap it either at every step. So I want to be a bit naughty here and say that 0 is invalid. And to do that, I need to go to my engine, find the code where it assigns. Yeah, here. Actually, no, not even. Here. Yeah, so it's 0 by default, start at 1, and then add a comment here. Start at 1, so that 0 is the empty handle. Yeah. And that'll be a note, I guess. I forget what my different options even are. It'd be nice if I could get like a list. Can I? Control N? No, doesn't show. Control O? No. Control Y? Nope. So there's notes. I guess I can just check my to-dos even. Any of them. Performance notes warn to do bug. Yeah. This isn't performance per se, so that should be fine. Right, so with that done, that should be good for that. Go back to game objects. Yeah, that's fine. So that's fine. And then I need to define the move constructor. Before I do that, let me redefine this as well. This is all redundant, I think. Yeah, it calls removal components, but that's fine. Because if it's nothing there, it's empty anyway. I can't really use it though. Like I can't say this equals that. Okay, I'll do like this. So I'll say handle.index or yeah, handle.index equals engine register cable. So like that's redundant code. It's all redundant though, isn't it? It's so weird that I can't just do this like more easily. I can define a helper function though. Copy all components. Whatever. Okay, so I'll copy this and put it here. and then I'll run copy all components in the same way I have the other thing. It'll be other, right? Because I have copy component there, which takes a reference. So pretty much be the same thing. What was it return? A reference to itself. That's fine. Yeah, so, well, copy that. Call it copy all components and define it. So it would just be this. Minus of this even, so it would just be this, right? And then go down to the bottom, paste it there. We need a const t component reference, I guess. So that has to be templated even. Other.get component retransform. What's wrong there? Const game object reference. Oh shit. My bad. So it's actually just game objects. All that. Okay, cool. Yeah, so basically the same as this. Basically the same as this. For copy all components, a handle is 0, that's fine. If the other one's handle is 0, that's not fine, but it doesn't matter either way because then it's not going to loop or anything, so whatever. Yep, so then just do this, copy all components, pass in other, and then we have both of these defined in the same way, which is very handy. Generation equals 0. Oh. Hold on. Generation equals 0. Why is that important? I don't even know. I'll come back to the generation stuff when I actually come back to it, but for now let's just include it here because I already had it, so. Yeah, .index, that's kind of funky how that got added automatically. Type equals that dot generation equals 0. I mean, it's 0 by default, so I really don't need to. Yeah. Okay. Like, this just ensures that the other stuff gets default initialized, which I guess you wouldn't be able to notice it. Like, so kind of interesting. Anyway, that should be good. Everything else gets copied fine. I'm pressing Shift V, it's not doing anything. Oh, because it's an empty line. So then we go down, delete that. Okay. So yeah, so now these are a bit nicer. And then we also need the move constructor. So I can move this to Dune, I think. For the move constructor, it'd be game object reference, I think. Other. Yeah, something like that. And then we'll find C++ move constructor, just for an example I can actually look at. Make sure to misspell it. Also probably, is it Claude that's lagging? I can't tell. It might be. Leaking resources. Or I've got malware on my computer. Yeah, it's X reference. Okay, fine. So it's other. We'll kind of copy the same thing here. Engine takes other.engine. Right. And then for the move constructor, it's literally moving into that. So everything gets copied. Or, well, moved. So handle.index equals. Well, I mean, just handle just equals other.handle, even. component checklist equals the other dot component checklist. It doesn't. I mean, here it doesn't need to clear itself anyway because there's nothing in it. But yeah, I wonder why. Oh, because this registers another game object. Yeah. Right. Yeah. They should probably just copy it altogether, right? It's a copy constructor, so it's a new game object, so a different generation. I guess that's fine, but really it should be the same as the other one. So it should be .index equals that. Whoops. How do I do this? DT space. Okay. So handle is gonna copy. So in this case, we just copy the entire handle because it uses the same handle. It just gets moved. That's all. Yeah, I mean we're literally just with the handle. So then all I do is just say other dot handle equals dot index. Let's say equals 0, which basically means reset the handle, right? So let me actually go to my handle first and add a function here that says empty or like clear or like deregister or something like that. What's a good thing here? Void deregister. Right, like the opposite of enrolling basically. Deregister, synonyms, delist, unenroll. Yeah, I think deregister is fitting there. So we'll call that, and what it does is it just sets index equals 0. An index of 0 signifies an empty game object. Could use standard optional, but seems excessive. Yeah. So then I can call that just to make it make a bit more sense there for the interface user, whatever. So I go to game object, HPP, and instead of doing this, I'll just say handle.deregister. Yeah. But before I do that, I want to do everything else. So it'll be move all components. Thing is, yeah, it doesn't have to, does it? So just put a note here. This passes possession. This passes ownership of all components. Yeah. Nice. So actually quite simple. Surprisingly simple. Same for the operator. Operator equals, taking a game object reference or whatever, R value, and it returns itself still. Now I believe this is correct. I'd be very happy if it is. It'll show that I understand C++ a lot better than I used to. So I'll just say handle again equals other handle. Same thing. Probably even include the same note. It is redundant code, but like, I mean, yeah. I'm not really gonna abstract it to a function here. I don't care to. And same thing, actually, the exact same thing. Caveat: if this equals other, then return this. I was thinking about using a goto here, but I feel like it would just be so unnecessarily, like just adding up complexity for no reason. So I want to not. Right, so let me have this. Let me quit because it's lagging again. and let's give it a try. So I'm going to do build first to see if it actually compiles. There you go. I did expect it to compile, for the record. My teeth, damn. And then we'll do run. Another segmentation fault. Ooh! You just love to get segmentation faults with no other information. Well. I'm trying to think where that could have gone wrong. So let's have a look at game object again. I mean, there's so many ways that it could have gone wrong without me realizing, but we have so again, like, this doesn't need to remove the components because moving it should just transfer the handle, which is fine. I guess we don't copy engine here. Maybe that's the issue actually, that we don't copy engine and so forth, therefore it gets nothing. It's possible, because then it's calling an empty engine. Give it a try. I doubt that'll fix it, but I don't like how it compiles so slowly. I get that I'm defining these in a HPP file. Let me try moving it to a CPP file and see if that increases compile times, because it should do, but it just depends on my knowledge. Okay, so now I got a different error. So that was actually the error, good, but now I have a different error, which we'll have to look at. Could be unrelated to this even. So let me first create a new file. I'll just copy these functions so I can define them in the other one. Game objects.cpp. By the way, I was thinking that there is an argument for using a different extension than CPP and HPP, because CPP and HPP are very similar, which means it's very easy to confuse them, but I refuse to use .h. But there's like .cc, .ixx, I guess, and stuff like that, cxx, hxx, so I might adopt such a convention, because like it is genuinely hard for me sometimes to quickly tell apart the CPP and HPP, because I see PP first, you know. So anyway, when it includes game objects.hpp, and then let's unindent this entire thing. Somehow I added more indentation. Yeah. Right. And then just go ahead and add this as a prefix to pretty much everything. Copy that. And then I guess just here. Do I need to do it for operator as well? Is that a thing? Redefinition of operator equals. Yeah, it would be. Yeah, okay. Game objects, that's the destructor as well. That's a template, so skip that. Skip that. This is a constructor. This was interesting. It's a private constructor. I forget where it's used. Obviously somewhere private, but anyway. And here. Okay. Then I can delete this stuff. Redefinition of game object. Yeah, they're all redefinitions. Put this one up here, since it is like the main constructor. What do I call this constructor? I'm not even sure, like, or I don't remember. And there's also the default constructor. Okay. So even that gets removed, I guess. I think. Destructor is defined. I can arguably just put this all together then. You know, the rule of 5, whatever. Those are fine. It's these. Okay, and also this. Yeah, so game object constructor. I don't know what that's even called. I don't know if it's used. I don't know. Anyway, we'll build that. It's not going to work because I need to update my CMake first. So let's go to CMake, save, just to trigger a refresh. Don't know why it's not doing anything here. It's weird. Try again. There you go. Bunch of SDL stuff. I don't know why it needs to build the dependencies again, and why I can't just, like, all I did was like add a new CPP file, and now it has to build like this. It's really weird. What? Was it like an update? Yeah, I guess there are updates, and that's why it's building these again. Okay, I'm gonna go water and be back. Still going. Just turn that off, because Bluetooth. All that to get an error. Invalidates the destructor game object as a type. That's right. But I'll recompile all that. So Control O to go back twice, 3 times even. Yeah. Why my speed didn't pick that up? Or Or maybe it did, I just didn't see it. I don't know. What's the fucking key? Is it here? No? No? Yeah. Keep in mind, I have an American keyboard, but I'm using British keyboard layout on my computer because I didn't want to get an American keyboard, it just came like this. So I'm making do. Okay, it built. So what I want to test here is if I were to like change something, would it then recompile all of them or just that one file? Yes, okay, good. So now it's much faster, which is very nice. Unfortunately, the same company said for the template files, template functions, but that's it is what it is. So we're gonna run and get a segmentation fault. Didn't expect that to be different, and then yeah, I guess we'll see where it occurs. First of all, what's actually in my game? Because that's the engine. The game itself has wallpaper and game and app. So the app stores as object here, okay. And if you look in the CPP file, yeah, the object shouldn't get removed. So I assume this moves it. And if it calls the move constructor, then it should just transfer the handle but keep the components, which would be fine. And here the create game objects will generate a handle, so that's fine. So that should be okay. And like I don't override the constructor there, so that should be an issue. How do I check like when it crashes? Like it'd be nice like if I could see where it crashes. Okay, what the hell? Well, I can see the assembly, I guess. Signal sig abort EAX to R8D. Obviously, this isn't very helpful to look at. I mean, it's calling a function that I don't know what it is. I guess it's get PID, but I don't know why it occurs here. But okay. So with that in mind, how do I get the stack trace? Close Claude. How do I get the stack trace from a crash after running LLDB DAB in the event? Got some messages or ping. Yeah, the AUR is like closed right now because it got hacked and sucks, man, because it's really useful. Okay, open stacks panel. I don't have DAP UI, which is the issue. So I need to get DAP UI basically. Otherwise I have to do like this shit. BT, yeah, BT gives you the break trace. Oh, buffer trace? I actually can't remember what BT stands for. But like, it's something trace, right? It did auto stop, so that's good. So I'll copy that. And you want to open the REPL. So let's run that command. That puts me into here. I think Alt, I can go down. No, Alt Shift. J. Yeah. Press Enter. Or just stop typing. Oh, I. That's right. And BT. Okay. So operator that's on standard vector transform, okay, which is called from component pool get. called by rect transform game object get component, and that's in set position. Great. So yeah, so like a stack trace is massively useful. So let's go up here, and let's have a look first in app.cpp, line 34. Right, so the issue is that we're trying to call this on 34, it said. Yeah, okay. Let me find the update as well. Line, it'd be nice if I could like jump to the file that it told me to. That'd be kind of cool. Line, doesn't tell me. 40. Yeah, so like it's literally the first thing that happens on update. Interestingly, change Y doesn't cause any errors. Probably because app template goes out of scope only after that. So I guess that would make sense, right? This size equals 7 and n equals 7. What was the error exactly? I don't know, but component pool, line 27. Over here. So iterated does not equal the end. So it finds the component. Right? Yeah. So it uses the map and it finds the component, but then the handle itself is null. So there's clearly some kind of like assignment error I have here. So I can pinpoint the error to this function, the remove function, because it clearly doesn't remove it properly. So again, handle to component at handle index. That's correct. Last element. Yeah, that's correct. Then remove components last element into target index. When we move, the handle is transferred, and that's it. No. No. When I move it, this is the component, right? So the component is moved somewhere else. That has nothing to do with my game object, so that's separate. So okay, so it just moves over then. Transfers its resources automatically. No issues there, otherwise I should get a compile error. Then it pops back the components, because now that one's a dead element. The move doesn't move the handle, so then we have to manually change the handle. So we get component to handle at target index equals handle. Ah! Got it. Last element. Got handle. Sorry. Handle, components handle? Sorry, components to handle last element. There we go. So not that handle. And then the original handle to component at that index now equals the target index. Handle to component. No, I think it's still this one. I believe. So then what happens instead is we still pop back. In fact, I'll do it here. Otherwise, it's going to cause an error. Yeah, so the handle gets updated. The target index, component index handle. So I give it a component index, and I get the handle, and the handle I should now get is the new one, which is the last elements one. That's fine. And then handle to component, handle to component. So now that one's handle should point to that different index instead. Yeah, that seems good. Okay, so let me just take copy this as well. So auto new handle equals, well, this. And then this is new handle. And then this is new handle as well. Okay, that should be correct. Let's see. This is a HTTP file, so I have to recompile everything. I should just move stuff, dude. Stop being lazy. Oh no, I can't because it's a templated class actually, so I can't do that. Mind you, this object, yeah, these functions don't even use the thing though. Like they don't use the component type. But whatever. They're gonna run and hopefully get not the same error. Voila! I did it! I did it without having to check any references. Yippee! And there you go. So now it moves safely, and we get this on my mouse. Shit! And then I get a segmentation fault at the end. Okay, that's that's not ideal. So there's still a segmentation fault, but now it happens after I finish the game, which is not clean per se, but at least it happens afterwards. Why even? When I close the game, what even happens? I will check. It's hilarious how like I could use like some form of error handling to do this, but I'm just not. Like probably for like debug mode. The thing is, like the game and the engine. Well, the game and the engine are linked though, so yeah, it's just so weird. It's like my refusal to add debugging things in the engine, but I definitely could. But like also like would it even help me that much? I don't know. So let me go to my main. Yeah, I don't know why there's a segmentation fault afterwards. I guess engine.cpp would expose it. When it's done, it runs SDL quit. I guess it doesn't clean up all the game objects. That could be a problem. Granted, if they go out of scope. But do they go out of scope? No, because SDL quit should be called after, right? Should it though? I mean, SDL only cares about the actual rendering. It doesn't care about the game objects. That should be automatically managed with RAII, as far as I'm concerned. So let's run the debugger and see where it even causes that, because that is a smell. Yeah, but if I quit, it catches here. This is in type info. Okay, and if I get me a stat trace by doing this, print stack trace. What? It's weird. BTA? What's the one for all? BT all. Oh, okay. Love how I can't scroll. It's actually kind of annoying. Okay, I can do this though. Oh, okay. The one I'm selecting, I guess. Sigabort, unnamed symbol. It looks to be the same. Hold on. So there are different threads. This one, like, what was this here for? Able to parse please? Is that what it was? Like, why is my stack trace like that? This is on the update loop. Maybe it's because I closed it like abruptly, right? Like I quit the app and therefore I get a segmentation fault. Maybe. Let me try. Okay, hold on. Let me try making it so that I close the app naturally instead. How do I do that? I have to detect input, right? Yeah, okay, let me just come back to it. It works for now, to an extent, so let's just leave it like that for now. Last thing I'll do is just do mouse position minus app preview dot size. I don't know. How big is it? 70 was it? Double. What does this return? Control X for 0. No. No. Control X. Control Z. How do I jump to definition? It's a VEC F32. So I should have this defined, unless I didn't. I did plus, not minus. Right. Okay, well, I'll be lazy here and just make it plus negative for now. Yep. And then let's go ahead and run. What an error? What? Cannot bind R value reference to type const float of type const float. Okay, so I just okay. Oh well. What I can do, of course, is just do minus vec. Ah, but that doesn't work, does it? Vec 2, and then do plus, and put this back. Yeah, that should probably work. Why does it even run if it doesn't, like what? Like, I get an error, but it still works? Okay, well, whatever, I don't have it defined apparently, so we'll just ignore that for now. But yeah, that'll do. So I'll just build and then let's commit. So get at all, get commit, add component removal and integrate with RAII. Push that, and good progress. I'm very happy with that. Close that, find my repository, refresh, 42 commits now, and it committed indeed. Cool. So with that done, that was kind of like the missing piece, like in terms of the game object system, was just removal. Now that you can do that, should be a lot smoother going forward. Yeah, so I guess next we'll probably be implementing the grid, and then stuff like mouse inputs and keyboard inputs. With keyboard inputs, I'll be able to have a quit, right? Maybe even like a quit button, like just press like an X on the screen and it'll close. And then once I have that, then I can handle the actual game closing thing, because like quitting it unexpectedly shouldn't like I don't know if that just causes the app to stop, but like it's never told to stop. So yeah, I mean, like if I look at my code right now and go to the engine, and look for the loop, yeah, like while it's running is never set to true, so it should just quit. I don't know if I can make it take, like because SEL spawns the window, I assume there's some kind of like event that is called for when the window closes, right? In fact, it should be here, no? Yeah. Case SEL event quit. Yeah. So it does close normally. I can probably add like a print line there and just verify that. So clearly there's some kind of error with cleanup that I need to address. But until that makes itself evident, the game works, so I can kind of continue for now anyway. And yeah, there you go, just a little session there to get that working. I'm glad I was able to have that working without using AI to help me like explain it to me or even looking up anything on Google. That's very cool. Of course, there could still be errors, and that's why I got this segmentation fault, or some other mistake can become evident later, but for now, it works well enough. So hey, subscribe to see more developments on FreeWare.